You want to know how a man ends up declared dead, only to walk back into his own life and find a luxury resort built on the grave? I'll tell you, but buckle up, because the worst part isn't the noise or the crowds or even the welcome sign with my own name etched on it like a sick joke. No, it's the bronze plaque by the lake, generously donated by the late Randall Denton. That's me. Or at least it's supposed to be. And you know the punchline? The HOA president herself, Karen Woodley, handed me my own death certificate and told me to get off her property. Try wrapping your head around that for a minute. I never thought I'd wind up in rural Missouri, on a hill where the air actually smells like pine and the only thing rushing is the wind. 10 years ago, I was still buried in federal hydrology meetings, arguing about river flows with folks who hadn't seen a real river since elementary school. It's funny, you spend 20 years swimming in bureaucracy and paperwork. It'll grind your soul in a paste if you let it. That's why I got out. Sold my condo in Denver, cashed out, and just drove. Drove until the world opened up, until the deadlines fell behind, until I found a lake so still it looked painted, tucked behind a wall of old oaks. The place was a mess, sure, broken windows, raccoon prints, a chimney that leaned like it wanted to quit, but it had good bones. And for the first time in forever, I put myself into something real. Every stone in that cabin's foundation, I laid with my own hands. Every trench, every drain, every filter, sweat, muscle, and a few curse words the way my dad taught me. That cabin became home, and that lake? It became sanctuary. I'd wake up to mist rising off the water, ducks gliding like paintbrushes, and I'd sit on the porch with my coffee, feeling the world untangle itself, one breath at a time. Nights were even better. Just me and the kayak, the sky turning gold, then purple, the only sounds being frogs and the wind weaving through cattails. Half a mile away, there was this place called Lakeside Haven. Cookie-cutter houses, stone mailboxes, lawn schedules printed in pastel, and, of course, an HOA that wrote more letters than the actual post office. I wasn't part of it, didn't want to be. My land sat outside their boundaries, free from their covenants and their clipboard-wielding volunteers. But every kingdom needs a queen, and theirs was Karen Woodley, strutting onto my property in a cream pantsuit 2 weeks after I moved in, posture straight as a fence post, smile sharp as a summons. "Mr. Denton," she said, all business. "I'm here to welcome you." I told her politely that I wasn't part of her HOA. She nodded, tight-lipped, and hinted about community before marching off. I should have known that wasn't the end of it. After that, there were little things, drones hovering too close to the tree line, a black SUV creeping along my property line, someone taking measurements with a clipboard and a GPS, a jagged black tattoo on his wrist that stuck in my mind. I asked the guy what he was doing. He mumbled something about boundary verifications and hightailed it back to an unmarked contractor truck. My gut said trouble, but I brushed it off. You know how it is. Sometimes comfort's easier than confrontation. But if I'd listened to that little voice, maybe I wouldn't have ended up in a hospital bed, body shattered, brain scrambled, and, get this, my own identity erased. The accident didn't feel real. It was raining, just a thin mist on the back roads. I was driving home, radio humming, thinking about calling my sister Linda. That's when the headlights came, too bright, too close, coming around a blind curve. And then, bam, a truck drifted into my lane, driver wearing a ball cap and that same jagged tattoo. He slammed into me hard enough to fold the world sideways, and everything went black. When I woke up, months had passed. 8 months in a coma, 6 weeks as John Doe because my ID had vanished, my face was a mess, and my sister had no idea where I was. In that window, those 6 weeks, someone walked into the county clerk's office, filled out a fake death report, and the HOA pounced. They used a loophole to claim emergency stewardship over my land. Linda, in her grief, signed what she thought were property maintenance forms, but they were really the keys to my kingdom. By the time I crawled out of rehab, the place I'd built was gone. The lake was now Willow Beach, lined with solar lanterns, deck chairs, gazebos, and a sign that said, "Private access for Lakeside Haven, HOA members only." My house was painted beige. My furniture vanished. My father's compass replaced with a staged photo of strangers. Even the swing I'd built was gone. I was a ghost on my own land. And then Karen appeared, strutting up with her clipboard, flanked by two HOA security goons. "Can I help you?" she asked. I almost laughed. "Yeah, you could tell me what happened to my house." She blinked, all innocence, and showed me a document. "Sorry, Mr. Denton passed away last year." I stared at her. "Do I look dead to you?" She didn't flinch. "Sir, you are trespassing." Before I could finish, a sheriff's cruiser rolled up. The deputy checked the paperwork, saw the provisional death notice, and told me I had to leave until ownership could be verified. That was the moment it hit me. On the dirt I'd bled for, on the lake my father fished, I was a trespasser because of paperwork and lies. I grabbed my bag, ready to collapse from rage and grief, and just before I left, I leaned in and told Karen, "I'm not done." Not by a long shot. She didn't like that. For the first time, I saw fear flicker in her eyes. Next stop, the county clerk's office. Smelled like old paper and secrets. I asked for the records on my land. The clerk, a woman with tired eyes, typed slowly, then showed me the file. Property transferred, owner deceased, all signed by some Donald Pierce. I asked about him, but she shut down. People in that office were scared. Someone had leaned on them hard. So I went to Marcus Patel, a property litigator with a reputation for cutting through fraud like a scalpel. I laid out everything: the accident, the takeover, the guy with the tattoo, the staged death certificate. He didn't blink. "You're dealing with fraud, false filing, illegal transfer, maybe even attempted murder if we connect the dots." He asked for proof, hospital records, evidence the HOA acted outside their authority, and anything on the tattooed guy. I had some of it, but not all. That's when Linda gave me a thick envelope. Every letter, every flyer, the fake badge, even the business card from the guy who'd pressured her. Marcus pulled in his own team. A sharp environmental specialist named Heather, and Ray, a freelance auditor who could smell money laundering a mile away. Heather showed us water tests. Turns out, the lake was being killed by the resort construction, runoff, and destroyed marshland. Ray traced HOA money straight to shell companies, finding the same names: Everglow Commons, Pierce, even a dead donor who'd been gone for years. It all started to fit. The guy with the tattoo, the staged paperwork, the crash, the rapid construction, the environmental damage. Organized, ruthless, not just sloppy fraud. We even caught Pierce on drone footage, torching the gazebo in the middle of the night, probably trying to destroy evidence. We handed it all to the fire marshal, who just muttered, "Accelerant everywhere." Someone wanted this gone. The prosecutor, Dana Costello, watched the drone video and didn't even blink when the fireball erupted. "You just handed me arson, insurance fraud, conspiracy, and attempted homicide," she said. Marcus slid her the fat folder from Linda. Receipts, letters, forged stewardship forms, the fake death certificate. The real kicker? That same Donald Pierce, hired by the HOA, had signed my death notice. The prosecutor didn't waste time. Next thing you know, Karen's board meeting got a surprise visit from the sheriff. Karen tried to lie her way out, blamed her nephew Tim, who cracked and screamed, "You promised if I got rid of the Denton problem, you'd protect me." The courtroom exploded. Dana had enough. She arrested Karen on the spot. Fraud, environmental violations, accessory to attempted murder. Karen lost it, shouting, "He was dead. This is my property." I stepped up and said, "He is very much alive." She lunged, but the deputies hauled her away. The judge didn't hold back. A mess. "Woodley, you didn't build a community. You built an empire of manipulation. You exploited grief, weaponized bureaucracy, endangered lives, and hid behind public service. 25 years, no parole for 20. As for me, all structures, claims, and commercial enclaves attributed to Lakeside Haven HOA are null and void. Ownership restored solely to Mr. Randall Denton. When it was over, I walked down to what was left of the old gazebo. The last thing standing was that bronze plaque, donated by the late Randall Denton. My jaw clenched. Linda asked, "You gonna keep it?" I shook my head. "No, I'm gonna end it." Ray brought me a sledgehammer, and I swung until that plaque was nothing but twisted bronze dust. Heather filmed, not for evidence, but for closure. We lit the remains in a controlled fire, ashes curling into the clean Missouri sky. For the first time in a long, long while, I felt alive, really fully alive. Weeks later, I carved a new cedar sign by hand. Private land, no HOA, no exceptions. And underneath, if you fake my death twice, I start charging rent. Even my neighbors laughed. Linda hugged me, and I realized I wasn't just alive. I was home. Finally, truly home. And now I've got a question for you. How many times can someone be erased before they stop fighting? Do you think paperwork should have the power to take a man's life, his land, his family? Drop your thoughts below, because if you've ever tangled with an HOA or fought for something that was yours, I want to hear your story. And if you believe justice still means something in this world, go ahead, subscribe, share your view, and tell me. What would you have done if you came home and found your whole life replaced by a plaque with your own name on it?